Blue. Relationships. Every light, sound, and matter traveling into the third dimension passes through the blue field, a medium of frictionless transport throughout our universe. People that have a blue energy light body have a sensitivity to this field and are able to react to the information being sent through it. The energy of the blue is much more of a pervasive network rather than a powerful force. Its real purpose is that of a conduit or support mechanism, which acquires its power from the activity of exterior elements. In other words, blue is the middleman of the colors. It seeks not deep relationships, but looks for many relationships and connections when engaging socially. The divine feminine of blue is a supporting energy, analogous to the life-filled blue sky and oceans. The blue female is generous with the ones she cares about. Her decisions on who she wants to be with romantically are based in logic, as she doesn't take chances or act on whims. Her optimal choice of a mate is a green male that is going to stay within the confines of what she has set out to do in life. She doesn't do well with sudden changes or impulsive undertakings, so a yellow, purple, or pink male would not be suitable for her in a long-term relationship. In the case of friendship, she is likely to maintain relations with all colors, and even if she disagrees with a person's point of view, will look past it for the greater good of the friendship. She is a humorous person with a silliness that's both intelligent and calculated. Purple will most likely be her favorite friend to talk to and hang out with because of Purple's beauty and ability to attract others to the duo. A lot of blue males have an insecurity issue within their relationships and usually cover that up with affairs or entering dealings with motives that will eventually benefit them at the cost of their counterpart. Blue is able to perceive the right timing to react to events and when to jump ship from a project or partnership. He is usually cold and dissociative, not hesitating to act selfishly. That being said, blue does not take action singularly. All actions must be balanced through the blue field, as it is the fabric of transport for the black balancing energies, some of which are attracted to excessive discrepancies in both polarizations veering off the neutral grid. These energies could release negative consequences on the blue who does not stay neutral in their personal or business dealings. This is why a blue should choose their romantic partner carefully, so that it does not stumble into a situation where it is influenced into behaving balefully. A relationship with a purple female is the best choice for the blue male because her high-maintenance needs will give him a sense of purposefulness and subdue blue's insecurities, making for a long-lasting and meaningful pairing. When developing close friendships, blue should find altruistic personality types like green and yellow to associate within their inner circle, because most people will exploit blue for its network and communicative ability. That is the defining basis of their insecurity issue and the reason why they choose to disassociate from the unspoken truth behind their interactions with other colors. It's better for blue to form bonds with those that don't have an agenda or benefit from having a connection to the person who has all the connections. Social dynamics. Blue is an adroit decision-maker and should always be consulted before action is taken within a corporate schema. The most successful blues are employed as M&A executives, financiers, and politicians. Their sensitivity and phlegmatic disposition helps them to stay sturdy when others in the group might be emotionally compromised and unable to make rational calls. Blue is a power broker, just like the politicians that use their leverage of not being dedicated to one single issue or give loyalty to a particular party. Blue keeps everyone in a position where they must trust blue, which keeps others under the influence of blue. Due to the lack of emotive connection towards anything in particular, somebody or a group of people are needed to act as an anchor of aspiration, so that there is a forceful intent driving blue, as opposed to its just own reactionary energy. Red's burning determination and conviction, along with pink and white's relentless pursuit of uncovering the unknown, can aid blue in finding its own direction amongst the endless possibilities that require powerful intent in order to materialize. Yellow can be viewed as a threat by blue because of its ability to go anywhere without blue. Not just physically, but also temporally. Its power to intuit the past, present, and future makes blue feel inadequate and bland. A shiny, bright color like yellow is in complete contrast to blue and is its exact opposite in almost every way. Blue doesn't like this. However, these contrasts together create such a vibrant energy. If both of these colors work together in any facet, personal or business, the outcome will be explosive. The best way to do this is by understanding that both yellow and blue have a supporting role in the hierarchy of colors. Yellow also does not have a burning conviction to dominate, but rather is aware of its responsibility of being a balancing factor between the frequencies in the multidimensional light universe. The faster blue can welcome this perceived foe into the fold, the quicker it will be able to rid itself of its insecurities. Blue should rely on their visions, dreams, and intuitive head voice to help guide their actions on a daily basis. In the house or at work, it would be an advantage for a blue to build and observe their connections with the blue field. Each blue will have individual strengths when communing with the blue field. By having an understanding of the concepts of a field which facilitates almost every work in action, you will begin to be aware of the tools needed to become a valuable contributor to the balancing of the field's negative and positive fluctuations. If blue recommends a friend for a job at their company, shortly after, blue will randomly receive a promotion or a quantitatively similar reward. For all blues, it is important to distinguish the energy patterns of people and situations so that benefits can be derived from assisting some, but also so that neglecting others may result in the circumventing of detrimental consequences. Mastering the code of cause and effect is how the blue will become successful. And by becoming knowledgeable about the intervals of our world's unfolding, you will have a marionette-like control of situations. But to others, your powers will remain incognito. Inner growth. The harmony of multidimensional vibrations that we sense as third-dimensional solid matter is an organic projection, which doesn't listen to what we say, but is connected to us, so it acts as an extension of our light-based feelings and thoughts. Our link is a blue field network, which separates the planes of existence, converting orange idea burble from the fifth dimension into functional matter in action in the fourth. Blue doesn't have the higher dimensional power of intent, but does have access to the currents of momentum feeding back through the blue field. These waves of cause and effect can act as an on and off switch, communicating to a blue how they should proceed in any situation they're in. As a blue grasps how to navigate these waves, they will discover the canon of blue and can find it advantageous to bootstrap their personal goals to the tide of eventuality, and even be able to have virtual influence over their reality. The canon of blue is based on the notion that the total number of workable processes have a singular blue vessel in which to pass through, and that each blue is responsible for being a homogeneous constituent of the vast blue field. So if there is an opportunity for you to sneak past others that were waiting in front of you, or a large diamond ring was left on your airplane seat, remember the rippling of the blue field. Every action has weight and purpose, and if you make the wrong or right decision, the action will ripple through the field, and the universal black energy will self-balance, either leaving you with a loss or granting you with a gain. Most blues will seek out an apparatus with continuous motion or sound to soothe them in a hypnotizing trance. This allows their mind to automate the processing of the information while they remain in a state of meditation. Blues are known to be quite alacritous when calculating numbers, along with most cognitive functions. For a blue, watching the stock market fluctuations on their screen is a palliative experience that usually turns into an addictive tendency. Blue males are able to gain blue light energy by providing their services as a processor of information. The more productive they are, the more efficient of a conduit they become. And the process is accumulatively compounded to the point where a high-level blue is actually a living extension of the blue field, able to sense even the most minuscule change around them. Unfortunately, to eventually increase their blue vivacious luminance, males are compelled to increasingly disassociate from their personal feelings and become transfixed to the blue field. Females, on the contrary, may intensify their luminosity by facilitating the supportive functions of the blue field by providing housing, comfort, a shoulder to lean on, or an ear to listen for their family, friends, and strangers. Blue females are wonderful caretakers that take pride in their ability to accommodate someone's needs, even when they may be reluctant to emotionally embrace that person. A blue female will always allocate her energy to help somebody, no matter the situation. As she selflessly makes herself available, the positive balancing mechanism in the blue field circulates into her blue energy light body, empowering her with a compounding vitality. Strengthening weakness. The consistent dedication to a task that is not an obligation, but that gives a reward in the form of tangible certification, will acquiesce the increase of much-needed self-confidence for the blue who chooses to elevate their state of well-being. By reducing their latent tendency of relying on mundane habits, blue can cumulatively build their emotional strength just as bodybuilders do with muscle. For blues, they seem to always avoid risks, which keeps them from rising above a level of averageness. If they don't take comprehensive self-care actions, their lack of positive self-imaging will putrefy their light body with lugubrious energy that causes a deeper spiral into depression. By achieving a postgrad diploma in corporate accounting or finishing the required amount of flight hours to earn a pilot's license, blue can have a sense of accomplishment and stand out amongst peers. The ricochet. The purple and blue interaction is very low fatigue and allows blue to engage at a comfortable pace. Blue's optimistic personality and exceptional sensitivity introduce blue to a positive outlook on the world without seeming too dreamy. Also, there is a sense of cohesion on the psychic levels of communication that they both possess, which allows them to be in synchrony. And when blue's self-effacing nature kicks in and they give up and steer away from major conflicts, a partner like purple that is able to unpuzzle almost anything will find a way to untangle their hardships. The Guangxi Man. Blue is able to guide and navigate energy in a very skilled and unique way, but in order to break free from the confines of being a middleman or coadjutor, blue should allocate their social backing into one color as an anchor for moral direction and progression in action. That color is green. The green is highly principled and is the best person for blue to align themselves within a friendship dynamic and especially in a group. Green will always be forthcoming, honest, and someone who will advocate on blue's behalf. Blue should always display its honest quality and provide green with clear-channeled advice, as it will benefit blue because green is giving and will remember their blue friends when that good advice produces a favorable corollary. The buffer. Blue can often be perceived as being disassociative when engaging with high-energy personalities like yellow and pink. Therefore, a buffer is needed, and for the blue, that buffer is orange. Orange is adept at configuring their emotions into ethereal appendages, which are then used to bind and transfer their intentions to the group. With orange, blue is able to communicate without irritation and can then have access to group influence. Scanning environments. There are visual signs to which the blue is able to base their decisions off of when asking the universe a question. If there is only one blue item visible, then that is a positive and should encourage a blue to proceed. However, if there are two blue identical items that appear, the best course of action for blue is to evade or cease movement at once. For example, if you are going to the beach after work, but then as you are pulling out of the parking lot, 2 identical blue Honda Civics pass by you. This is the blue signal to stay and finish that work you still haven't sent off to the client. Blue signs are very clear, and if you see one, pay attention to it. Light body enablers. Meditation is very important for everyone, but for the blue, it is an easy access to the blue field. By focusing one's attention to slowing and controlling the breath, blue is able to emerge with and receive messages from the blue field. Normally, blue is in a calm state of well-being, so a blue field's connection is quite obtainable for them to achieve. Precursors to stagnation. Socializing is a quintessential aspect of being blue. Their purpose in life is to transit information, let it be vocal or otherwise. For a blue to be without friends or coworkers would force them into a feeling of excessive disassociation, which could leave them depressed. A great and healthy way to avoid that from happening, if being alone is uncontrollable, is to play musical instruments or write literature in any form. Shapes and numbers. The circle and sphere are a foundational property of corporeality. Their calculative perimeters are infinite and exist in everything from the trochoidal orbits of atoms to the cycles of life throughout existence. Blue is the radius of the universe beyond its metaphysical planes, which lay out of physical reach. This blue shape is made from a number which expresses the analogous phenomenon of repetition, the number 3. It is the force of propagation from duality into physical forms. It is the building block of our third dimension. Speaking into existence. Even though the divine feminine of blue is used to overlooking truths to maintain a balanced disposition, the divine masculine of blue is very sensitive and feels the pain of lying. Their disposition is reliably calm and would become noticeably frazzled if they were to tell a lie, because there is a conscious choice to deceive, which carries a lower vibrational signature, not compatible traveling through the blue field. It's in blue's nature to only communicate all that coalesces with the conduit of their cool and clear emotional frequency realm. People training. As the interagent of the colors, blue should search out those who are powerful and passionate, but lack what they are seeking. Usually these verbose types want their large dreams to come true, but require a person with a vast social network and a sensitive awareness about timing and placement to make it happen. This is the niche for blue to really excel at fulfilling its reputation of being a middleman by designing a way for the dream and the dreamer to connect. The first example of such a design would be socially. If the blue has a vast social network of high-value people, then its role as a connector would be to facilitate a successful project. Another design would be a logistical solution, using a highly efficient flowing system created to expedite the transfer of goods or services. The blue is proficient at creating such systems, as they are able to calculate the modes of transfer seamlessly. Finally, the blue is noted as deciphering problems for others in the way of consulting or channeling. Due to the blue's unmatched competence in accessing the blue field, they are able to transfer relatively concealed information back to their clients, for example, at a bank. A blue well-versed in the bond market would create prophetic projections for the coming years, yielding an advantage for their client. These ways to bridge a dreamer to their dreams are primarily the divine masculine attributes of the blue. Nevertheless, they are still strengths when building social influence. The word network and blue are synonymous with each other, as a successful blue will have one of two types of networks to which they will build. The first is a high-value network. This group of people will consist of typical alpha types that are at the center of their social groups, reds, highly intuitive entrepreneurial types, whites, and immensely organized academic types, greens. By having connections with these types of people, blue is able to utilize their powers when interceding as a power broker. The second type of network a successful blue will have is a vast network. In this group type, the importance is placed on how it is amassed over its actual constituents. Blue's formula for creating such a vast network is by using the dynamism of 3. Everything is done in thirds. For example, when Blue meets person 1, they will make sure to connect with a person 2 from that social circle, and finally further on to the next 3, person from person 2's social group. It's much less social climbing, but rather social surfing. Having one or both of these types of social apparatuses will allow Blue to have considerable influence in their personal and professional lives. The silence and peacefulness of the Blue field is what makes each and every Blue a person that others seek as a confidant. Their unbiased approach to almost everything in life gives them all a wise outlook on dealing with almost every situation. The basal traits of the Blue are selflessness and supporting others. This divine feminine quality is inherent in all those who are in the Blue. That is the reason why this color is trusted with the function of being an advocate and go-between. There are other dimensional entities that would wreak havoc if they were able to materialize in the third dimension. But Blue protects us with its constant flow of blue burning energy, which is made from the same substance as the blue flame of the soul. Blue in nature. Just in the final days of winter and in the early days of spring, wetness brings life back to the world, and the earth begins to breathe again. The tertiary stage of water, which follows the numerical criterion of blue, is the life force that constitutes most of the human body and a majority of the surface areas of the planet. All of the animals, plants, and minerals require water's transportive properties to exist and give life, which is a pervasive energy that augments the vessel to which it occupies. The vessel's soul also cycles through a cleansing tertiary stage dynamic, as it is affected by its exposure to experience. The story of Blue. Initially, a Blue will take solace in being neutral. Others will learn to be controlled by their emotions, but Blue will rely on the natural order of things, which will create a synchronistic bond with the balancing forces of the universe. Then when Blue becomes increasingly powerful from emulating the Blue field, they will start to understand the timing of life. There are many ways each person will live their life, but this is the best possible outcome for a Blue, as it is a safe one. The futures. This current universe is the result of a previous Blue future, where all energies were separated by the balancing powers of the black, which utilizes Blue network to keep red from seeping into and devouring other realms. This is why all life in this universe is dependent on the transferring properties of Blue and have to abide by its rules of cause and effect. If we didn't have this system set up, negativity and positivity would not be classified and differentiated, leaving us with a very chaotic state of existence. Pain and suffering would go unchallenged in this type of future, where the negative forces are able to have control over the constructs of the world. It is imperative that whichever color wins the jostling for supremacy throughout the multidimensional light universe should cooperate with the powers of the Blue to provide a fair and stable foundation for life to arise again.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.